Life has changed in the last few weeks for me, and through these changes, I've grown and learned so much that I seriously just cannot wait to unpack with you guys in this episode. So, let's catch up today. Also, before we start, my recorder literally just broke in my phone. So, if my audio is sounding a little bit weird or maybe not as clear or direct, it is because I cannot connect my mic anymore, unfortunately, so I'm gonna have to figure that out another time. So we're just gonna try to move past that today. Welcome back to Build with Bella, the podcast where I help you become the most self-loving, confident, and best version of yourself. So today we're just kind of gonna do a little catch-up episode. I'm gonna teach you guys some lessons I've learned in the past month or so, what life has been, what kind of cards I've been dealt with lately, and how I've been managing my stress as a teenager who's graduating in literally not even 2 weeks. So let's get into it. I'm so excited to catch up with you guys. The first thing I want to talk about is how life has been lately and how I've been managing everything on my plate. So graduation for me is literally right around the corner, and with this, it truly has brought up so many different emotions that I never thought it would bring up for me during graduation. Like, everyone sees it as a very happy, exciting time. And obviously, I am so stoked. I'm so excited for university. I am so excited to start this new chapter of my life. But there's also this feeling of change and uncertainty and anxiety that I'm becoming someone who I don't really know. Like, I feel like I'm becoming a different version of myself, and it's not even on my own terms. It's kind of just, I'm just being pushed into it, kind of. So, truly, things have just changed in a way that I never really thought they would at the end of high school. So I've just kind of been managing that a lot differently. And guys, if any of you are going through a stressful period in your life, I feel for you so much right now, okay? Truly, I think it's so different when you're in a stressful situation and you're kind of like, wow, this is actually how it feels. I feel like I've been a lot more bloated and puffy lately. I feel like just I haven't been eating as healthy. My sleep hasn't been as good. So truly, if you guys are stressed, I just want to let you know that I'm here for you and I feel you. And you guys can literally comment, DM, text me whenever you want, and just tell me how I can help you guys, what kind of episodes you want to see, because truly, I want to help more people get through hard times. But so I have truly just been kind of handling that differently and taking it day by day. I think like an important thing about going through a transition period is taking it day by day and not kind of like forcing yourself to feel better or fix your emotions or change anything, because you're already going through such a large, drastic change that if you are already putting so much pressure on yourself and you're putting this unnecessary guilt on yourself to be or do something different, it just accumulates and it doesn't help you grow, or it's not sustainable and it's just not consistent. And through this, I also kind of want to talk about how prioritizing different areas of life is still really important, because I find that when I'm stressed, I tend to push people away and I tend to push situations away just because I'm worried about myself and I'm worried about where I'm going. I'm kind of procrastinating. I don't really want to see anybody. So every time I push through that terrible feeling and I decide, well, you know what? Let's ask my friend to hang out. Let's do this. Let's go out. Let's do that. I feel so much better. Because seriously, like, if you have good friends, if you have good relationships, whether it's a boyfriend, a girlfriend, you have good parents, whatever it is, if you just sit down and you talk to them and you prioritize that relationship, it should uplift you and it should make you feel good. And every time I've been doing this, it's made me feel like, you know what, life is actually going way better than I'm giving it credit for right now. And I need to be kind of like a little bit more grateful. And it just like really centers me back into like a better place than just like, oh my gosh, like life is so hard. Because when you're going through something stressful and you're going through it alone, and it's mainly in your head, that can be really, it can get kind of toxic and it can get really harmful really fast, because it's really good to have at least someone to kind of bounce things off of. And, you know, if you and your friends are graduating just like I am soon, talk about it with them, right? Go to them, talk to them, be like, hey, are you guys feeling the same way too? Like, are you guys feeling this? Are you stressed out too? And you can help each other and you can be there for each other. So, seriously, prioritizing your relationships during stressful periods is one of the best ways to just kind of grab a grasp on reality again and kind of just get clear that you're not alone, you're not going through anything out of the ordinary, and you're not dealing with anything that nobody else has dealt with before. The overwhelm is real, guys, okay? Oh, being overwhelmed is a very different feeling. It's very different to me than all of the other feelings that I kind of have, like sadness, happiness, all those things. Overwhelm is very different. It's very overbearing. Like, everybody kind of knows, I feel like, the basic foundations of how they can help themselves when they're sad, when they're angry, when they're frustrated, when they're like really excited. You kind of know how to manage those emotions better because they come up so often. But oftentimes I find that being super overwhelmed only happens when you're going through a lot of transition, or there's just a lot happening in your life. You're balancing things you've never balanced before. So I always find that overwhelm happens to me when I'm in a period where things are kind of getting jumbled up, and things are kind of getting a little out of the ordinary, and things are changing, and things are like not flowing as they used to. So learning how to manage that, and I don't even want to say deal with it, but just like learn how to approach it is so important. So I thought I'd share a couple tips about how I've been dealing with me being overwhelmed lately. One of them is just kind of grounding myself through meditation and prayer, and just kind of taking time to connect with myself instead of push myself away, because I've realized things about myself that have changed in the last couple weeks due to higher stress, busier schedule, prioritizing things that I normally like wouldn't prioritize. And I truly do think that it's just learning how to kind of ground yourself and help yourself feel safe again in yourself, because it's really easy to kind of jump out of your body and just kind of like explode and go crazy, and that's really important that you learn how to manage that. So I do a very short meditation practice in the morning where I literally just sit. I don't even make my bed. I just like sit on my bed the second I wake up, and I just think to myself, I'm like, how are you feeling? Like, do you feel any tension anywhere? How do you feel? How do you want your day to go? Like, what do we need to do? But it's all just very soft, and it just grounds me in myself, and it helps me acknowledge things before they actually kind of show up. So I really recommend that you either meditate, or you do even like yoga, or you pray, and it really just helps you when you're overwhelmed. So the second thing that I kind of want to bring up with you guys is the recent lessons that I've learned from the things that I've gone through. So let's get into that. The first thing I want to talk about is how you are following your own timeline and no one else's. So lately, things have just kind of been feeling off balanced, very not normal. I haven't really been feeling like myself. Like, you know, when you kind of look in the mirror and you're like, I don't really know you. That's kind of how I've been feeling, just like an imposter in myself, and I can't find a way to anchor myself back in self-trust and self-love. It's been really difficult for me. So, but honestly, through all of that, I've been learning that you're on your own timeline. And the way that you feel and what you're going through and the things that you're experiencing are uniquely and divinely tailored to your experience on Earth. And you can't rush that or try to control it too much. And yes, you should have a grasp generally on your life and make sure that you are prioritizing yourself, and you know, you're not letting yourself go, you're not doing all of that. But also understand that, like, if things aren't happening to you in the way you thought they would, or if growth isn't happening in this area as fast, or if, you know, you don't feel this way the way that you thought you would even years after doing certain things, it's meant for you. Okay? It's meant for you. It's meant to happen to you. You're meant to go through it. You're meant to feel it, because this is your journey. This is nobody else's journey. And I think when we get too wrapped up in looking at other people's lives, which everyone does, I'm not trying to demonize that, but I'm saying because every person on this earth we have so much access to everyone else's life all the time, whenever we want, whoever we want. I think we start to picture the perfect idea of what life should look like, and then we forget that maybe that doesn't align with us or our values or who we want to be. And so you start chasing a lifestyle that wasn't meant for you in the first place. And then you start kind of like messing with your beautiful timeline because you're trying to follow someone else's. So I've truly just learned over these last couple weeks to just pour into my timeline and not try to be all like, oh, but she had this when she started only 2 months in, and like, oh, but like she was so much richer than me, and oh, she got so many more opportunities. No, we're not doing that, okay? Close that gap and take those thoughts and throw them in the garbage. They do not mean anything, and they're not relevant to you at all. That person's journey who you admire has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. It's fine if you get inspiration from that. That's not your life. Okay? Your life is not going to look like that. It can have the same aspects and it can have the same parts and the same things and the same feeling, but it's not going to be your life. And that's what's so special. Focus on your life because that's what you're living. That is what you are living and breathing every single day. Focus on that. Learn how to center yourself in that instead of this external world of everyone else, because that's going to get you nowhere. This is going to get you somewhere. Looking at yourself and loving the person who you are and becoming the person who you want to be, that's what's going to get you farther in life. The second thing is you don't always need to feel good. Okay? I've learned that that's not a bad thing. You know, and it's not something that I'm romanticizing. It's not something that I'm trying to stay in. It is something that I've realized is just part of life. Okay? Sometimes you go through phases where you're just uncomfortable and you're just not feeling yourself. You're just having this like out of body experience that is just like not pleasant. And that's okay. Okay, I really want to just validate you guys right now and help you realize that that's okay. You don't have to stress about it, okay? If you need to cry every day for a week for no reason, break down. Do it. If you need to get so angry and just scream into a pillow and do super intense workouts because you just have so much rage, do it. Whatever period of life you're in, and especially if it's negative, feel it, okay? Because the reason why we are so stuck all the time is because we are constantly trying to avoid and push down and disregard the negative emotions that we're feeling. And trust me, guys, you can't do that anymore because that will get you nowhere. Yes, you need to push past your emotions. You need to be able to take control of yourself. But at the end of the day, if you are just in an uncomfortable period of life, just let that happen. Because nothing bad happens forever, nothing good happens forever, okay? There are always going to be ups and downs, turns and twists. Tell yourself and reassure yourself that this is not a forever thing, okay? You aren't going to be in this period forever. So just remember that. Number 3 is stop demonizing how you feel and letting your emotions control your actions. Okay, so this is going to be kind of like a touchy-feely one for some people, but it is something you all need to hear. So what I mean by this is obviously, like how I was saying earlier, do not demonize your emotions by trying to be like, oh my gosh, I'm a terrible person because I feel angry, or I'm a terrible person because I feel sad. Like, stop demonizing and stop labeling. You know, if you are currently in a really sad situation and you're very sad, don't label yourself as depressed, right? If you are super angry, don't label yourself as like this angry, enraged person. You don't, because the more you identify with those feelings and the more you allow them to kind of consume you, the more they manifest into bigger problems. And then maybe you are then dealing with depression because you kept telling yourself that you had depression, or you keep having these anxious, angry bursts of just like emotion because you keep telling yourself you're an easily enraged person. So yes, like you shouldn't demonize your emotions, but you also shouldn't label your emotions all the time. Like, I feel like we're kind of in a culture where we need to know everything and we need to like identify everything and be able to work through everything. I truly believe that it's okay to just feel what you feel and allow it to just happen but then just learn how to move on and be okay with yourself. I think as long as you're grounded in yourself and who you are and what you are trying to do, and like sometimes, yes, sometimes we all have bad days and we all just struggle. Like today, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, was not my day. I went to school and I just did not have a very good time. Like I was very just upset. My mindset was very negative. I felt very convicted today, and just, some negative things happened. But instead of identifying with that and then saying like, "Oh, you're lazy and you're sad and you're depressed and you're anxious and you're blah 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 blah," I literally just picked myself up and said, "You know what? We're just going to turn the day around because we have stuff to do still. Like you're just going to get out your recording stuff and you're going to record a podcast and you'll feel better." So that's literally what I'm doing. I'm sitting down and I'm recording my podcast. So I chose not to identify with having a bad day previously, and now I'm focusing on fixing that and creating a better relationship with myself and my emotions right now. So make sure that you aren't letting your emotions dictate your actions, because there are some days when like you genuinely don't feel good, and that's something for you guys to figure out. You should learn how you feel when you're physically ill, when you're like mentally not doing great, and when you're just kind of feeling lazy and demotivated, and how to work through all three of those major things, because those are three things that are going to come up multiple times in life, and learning how to identify them and separate them and have different systems for them will literally save you so much procrastination and so much suffering and time. So it's really just important to understand kind of like where you are and what your current situation is and how you can move forward in the best, healthiest way for yourself. And the last thing that I want to leave you guys with is some stress managing tactics, because I feel like I know a lot of people right now who are dealing with a lot of very stressful situations and things in life. Like, I just feel like it's a very stressful time of the year for a lot of people. So, guys, if you are a teenager right now, I am praying for you so hard, because I just feel I just feel a lot right now about everything that's going on. So, I wanted to give you guys a couple stress tactics. So, the first one is going to be breath work. And I know that this sounds cringy and like weird, and you're like, "Girl, I can't just breathe and feel better." But in a book, if you have ever read any of Jay Shetty's book, you will know that Jay Shetty was a former monk, and in his book, he referenced to a child who he met in his little, like, where he was doing his training, and he was teaching people how to breathe. And it was basically because even, like, ever since we're born, the first things that we learn how to control is our breath and how to breathe. It's going to be the first thing you ever do in your life, and it'll be the last thing you do in your life. And your breathing really does help regulate how you feel, and your breathing changes depending on how you feel. So if you can learn how to control it even when you are like most angry or sad is really important. So one technique that I use all the time is called like the box method, and everyone's heard of this, but I thought I'd bring it up. It's basically where you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, you exhale for 4 seconds, and then you hold that for 4 seconds, and you basically just repeat that as many times as you need. There are so many other practices that you guys can look up online, or that you can kind of create yourself and tailor to how you deal with stress the best. So it's just something I would just really recommend to anyone. The second is learn your individual needs and preferences for when you're stressed. So for me personally, I'm a very early riser, but when I am stressed and inflamed and upset, sleeping in is literally my superpower, because I don't do it. I rarely ever do it. So when I do, it feels like such an indulgent luxury thing for me. And that really just signals to my body like, oh my gosh, like we're going slow, and it like makes me feel so much better. I'm not rushing. I'm like slowing down. So I found that when I'm stressed, learning how to tailor that to myself and like give myself a little extra space in the mornings. So this could be whatever you want. Maybe when you're stressed, something that really helps you is taking a bubble bath. Maybe it's, you know, reading a couple pages of your favorite book before bed instead of watching TV. Maybe it's baking your favorite sweet treat for yourself so you have, something fun to eat before you go to bed. whatever it is, learn your individual needs, because you are going to need to learn how to manage stress in your life one way or another. Guys, like, I cannot prepare you for the stressful things that are going to happen in your life. You need to learn how to prepare yourself. So there are so many tools and resources that you guys can gather from creators like me, or just internet articles from your friends, from your family members, that can really just help ground you and make you kind of grasp a better reality of what's going on, instead of just kind of losing your mind and getting stressed and just like going kind of off the walls about it. The last tip I want to give you guys is to allow yourself to feel things without needing to fix them, okay? And I know this one sounds kind of stupid, and you're probably like, well, how am I supposed to manage stress if, the stressful thing is already consuming me and I can't fix it? So, what I mean by this, we do this in a really brutal way to ourselves without even thinking about it sometimes. You're already in a stressful situation, and then you just kind of keep jabbing at yourself, and you just kind of keep nitpicking everything you do. And you're just so rude to yourself, and you're so mean, and you're so unreasonable. Like, stress is a real thing that can slow you down, that can make you feel worse, that can make you sick. It can make you feel bloated. It can make you feel puffy and insecure. And stress can do all those things to you, okay? That's a real thing. It can slow you down. It can feel like a ball in a chain dragging behind you. So leave space for that. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you any less than. It just means that you are a human being who is going through very real things. Leave space for that. That doesn't make you any worse. That doesn't make you any weaker. That doesn't make you any smaller. It doesn't do anything to you. It just allows you to actually breathe, and it gives you space to think about what you're going through and who you are and how you can help yourself. So I really just recommend to you guys, just kind of leave that space, and don't try to pin yourself into like getting better, fixing yourself, glowing up, achieving like all your goals at once. Okay, like, even just thinking about that is making me so exhausted right now, because every single period of life that you go through is trying to teach you something different, and sometimes tailoring your lifestyle to the period that you're in is a really helpful way to not only feel better, but to just grasp a better understanding of why this is happening to you. Sometimes life changes can create a lot more resistance when you thought it could. Instead of resisting your feelings, and instead of resisting the lesson that you're going through and what's kind of going on inside your head and all these things, try to just learn from it and give yourself space and give yourself time to regroup, feel better, and gain more knowledge to become a better version of yourself in the future. Guys, my last message to you is, remember that this period of your life is not forever, it's temporary. So whatever you're going through, I just want to let you know that you're going to come out bigger and better and more successful than you ever thought you ever would. This was your weekly reminder to learn, grow, evolve, inspire. I love you all so much, and I can't wait to talk to you next week. Bye.